All right, this is a video for a TAC9ER flashlight. So got it on Amazon. There's quite a few that look similar to this, but this is $10. Figured I'd check it out. There's all the happy instructions. Let's see what it shows on here. So anyway, it takes an 18650 battery. It has a USB charger built in, and it has multiple modes of lighting and some kind of a focus on it. Talk about that in a second. As you can see right there. Yeah, so the first thing is I took this outside. This says distance 350 meters. I like showing it across a field, and that's like over 600 feet. So it'd be like, but like halfway, say like 300 feet or something was all I could see trees reflecting light back at. Would someone see you pointing this at them? 350 meters away? Yeah, probably. But if you're trying to light something up 350 meters away, it's not going to happen. Like maybe, like I said, maybe 350 feet. There. Okay. So it also comes with this USB. Okay. So that's high. Let's just give that's high, medium, low. In the camera, maybe you can see the flashing, I don't know. And then it has a blink, and then a different type of strobing. Jeez, that's terrible. And then off. All right, so that's bright. But then when you focus it, in essence, you get a square. So you're shining this, how many ever, 300 feet, you're going to end up with a square. And if I go back far enough, you can see the actual LED. And maybe even, well, either way, it's a square. At close range, it's pretty crisp though. So, I don't know, it doesn't quite work. Yeah, see, I turned it on and now it's in a different state. And it's flat. I don't think that's how it should work. Because you're just turning it on and all of a sudden it starts flashing. Yeah, it shouldn't be doing that. But anyway, so the functionality of it, I don't like that. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm tearing it apart. So, let me get this. Okay. So that's the back end. Obviously, when you're pushing the button, you're making contact with the sides and this center post. And that's making contact with that and here. This is also, you have to take this off in order to charge it with the USB cable. And that just unscrews from the inside. And that has, let's see if we can get in there. The USB charger's in there. Okay, so this thing comes apart a little bit more. That just unscrews. So a threaded inside of a threaded. Let's see how to take that apart without destroying it. Do this thing. That's a circuit board. You can see the other vertical circuit board in there. So how does this come apart? It's got an LED there. How does this come apart without destroying it? Okay, I'll have to look more into that. I don't really want to destroy this because I'm actually, even though I'm taking it apart, I'm going to use it for a project. So I kind of want the, this is the battery that comes with it. And you can see the spring down in there. All right. Ooh. Yeah, and it's got a little bit of oil on it. It's made for whatever it says, how many feet underwater. Okay. So the top screws off. Apparently you can break glass with that. And then that is a plastic lens and a O-ring. That off to the side. And there's the LED. And obviously this is what focuses it, and the snap ring is what gets in the way for opening it back up. So I'm sure I have to get the snap ring out of there. I don't know if I have snap ring pliers this big anyway, so see if I can get this thing apart. Oh boy. Okay, getting closer. Holy smokes! Oh, it's funny. Okay, I bounced across the room and landed in a shot glass. That is utterly hilarious. Jesus. Okay. Okay, so then it pulls off the back side. Whatever. And we got some more O-rings in here. Alright, so then I assume... let's see, what would we do here then? Does this unthread off the top? How is this attached? And then we got this. I had to take a wrench on here and adjustable pliers on here, but then this threaded out. Let's get the tube. And this thing does spin on here, which I don't know if I'm destroying. There we go. Okay, so that just loosened it up. All right, so inside, red and a blue wire going to each side, and there's all the circuitry for how it's controlled. So there isn't any function in the back end. I was thinking that it might have been in back here, but I guess it doesn't really matter. You're opening and closing a circuit, so everything's up here. So let's get a closer look at that. So yeah, then if you want this to be a normal flashlight, you can probably take out most of these things and just bypass it. And the switch would just turn it on and off. And you won't have to deal with the weird flashing modes or whatever. It looks like the top and inside of here, the board, the metal board, obviously that cob is on, has got adhesive on the back of it. And I'm not sure if this plastic cap is threaded in there or not. So it might actually be threaded in there. Alright, so I was able to get this apart. This plastic ring is just snapped in. The compound in the back is still wet, so it wasn't glued in or anything. So taking this apart, probably just hold it in a vise and pop it from the back should force this out pretty easily. and then it's just hooked in. Okay, so here's the diagram. We have a switch, just a switch, the USB charger, which is inside here. This is a direct bypass of that, so we have to have the switch removed in order to use it. We've got our 18650 battery. Then we have a S4 diode, or Schottky probably, which is forcing this to 2.18 volts. And that is the positive side of the LEDs. And then on the negative side, we have another S4 going over to capacitor resistor, and then to this chip, which is unmarked, which does the functions as you turn the switch on and off at certain rates. It's got the power, it's got the case ground, or the negative, whichever it would be you want to call it. Then we have the pin for the pulse width that's coming out, which goes to a resistor, 10K, and then to two N-channel MOSFETs. So it's gating them on, then allowing the ground or case ground to go through four 750 milliohm resistors in parallel to the negative side of the LEDs. And it looks, when I looked at it close, it looks like there's like 50 of them in there, and I assume they're all in parallel. So that's under normal operation. So you turn the power on, you're getting power to here. I assume there's probably some capacitance in here so that when you're disengaging the power for less than 2 seconds, it still remembers what setting it had, and then when it comes back on, it sees this going back up and it changes what it's sending out. When it's in the high mode, I believe it's on full. I don't think it's sending anything out because I couldn't see any flashing when it was in the camera or anything. Okay, so then in charging mode, when you take this switch completely off the back side, this is no longer connected. So the negative of the battery is not connected to the ground, or the case ground. And when you plug your USB in, this is now the positive side charging through this direction. Everything else here doesn't work. So the last thing I wanted to go over was the failure mode. So what on this flashlight would fail? First thing that would fail would be the battery, but you can charge it, you can easily replace it. Second thing would probably be any of these circuits on here. Probably this would fail maybe, or the LED. Don't know what this is, not marked, so it's probably not easily replaceable. The LED, this comes from CREE, so you could probably purchase this if this failed, assuming you knew that this failed and it wasn't any of the circuitry on the backside, which is more worth it. The other thing that would possibly fail would be the USB charger, but if this failed, like I said, you could just replace the battery, because if this failed, this is just bypassed anyway. And then the last thing is, when I was using this, I personally didn't like how it came on. So that's got to be medium mode. That's got to be low. And there's the stupid flashing, and there's the stupid blinking, and then there's full on. So I've had other flashlights that had at least the 3 dim settings, and then 1 flashing mode, which is super annoying. I don't really see a practical reason to have the flashing or the blinking, the dimming maybe, but so in any case, I would likely bypass all this. So this chip is gating on these MOSFETs. So just by soldering like this terminal to this terminal, just bypassing it completely, this would always be grounded or to the negative. So when you turn the switch on, it would just go straight in here, bypass all this. Doesn't matter if this was trying to pulse on or off or whatever. So the simple thing would be just solder straight from here to here. There's multiple. But yeah, it's pretty small, but from there to there. And then when you click it on, it would just come on permanent, like a normal flashlight, if you didn't want the functions. It's a hassle, kind of, to get inside of this thing, to get to this point where you would do that, but easily doable. Alright, so I think maybe the last thing is this. So I didn't take this USB charger apart. I don't plan on it. I don't want to lose the functionality of being able to use it, even though I'm going to use this case for another project. Not the LED or anything, but just the case. So I still wanted this to be able to function, so I didn't want to rip it apart. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below.